If you see any of these devices and think it's one of the S23 series, while you are wrong, I'm sure Samsung is happy for a job well done unifying their designs across the board. This is the Samsung Galaxy A54 and A34, and this video is about the A54. So let's get started. Samsung's A-series devices this year have been officially released, and they adopted a design strategy I'm sure will make for more sales, as there are a lot of people that will buy a Galaxy A-series just because it looks like a flagship. But we know looks are not everything. User experience is where it matters the most. Unlike last year, we are not expecting a Galaxy A74, so the A54 is not only trying to serve as an upgrade to its predecessor, but it also has to fill the shoes of the A74. If you used to experience the Galaxy A53, I'm pretty sure when you saw the specs of the A54, you were like, God, not again with Exynos. But hold your disappointment, Samsung is definitely onto something with the Exynos 1380, and right now I can say for certain it offers a much better experience than the Exynos 1280 of last year. But before I get carried away and start talking all the nerdy stuff, let's take a look at the Samsung Galaxy A54 and if it offers enough value and user experience to make you ditch your current phone. I've had this for a few days, got it for about 288,000 naira here in Nigeria. That's around the $400 price point, I think. And that gives you the 8GB version with 128 gigs of storage. There's a 256 gig option which costs about 30k more, that's 318k, also with 8 gigs of RAM. So it's basically priced around the same as the A53 in Nigeria currently, and unlike that, it comes with 8 gigs of RAM. The A53 launched here with 6 gigs and the 8 gig version was not available until a few months later, so that's a plus if you're looking at where there are upgrades. I don't think there's any point talking about unboxing because nothing has changed. You still get just the device and the USB cable. No headphone jack, but thankfully we still get the SD card slot should you need it. It's a dual hybrid SIM slot that allows you to use either a SIM card and an SD card or two SIM cards with no SD card. The A54 has 5G connectivity, but in Nigeria you still cannot access MTN's 5G network. I guess something for Samsung and MTN to come together in agreement with. The Galaxy A54 comes in about 4 colors as marketed by Samsung, but it seems only the awesome lime, black and white are available in Nigeria at the moment. I actually wanted white, but it wasn't available initially. The lime looks lovely though. I might still end up getting the white. Samsung has adjusted the build quality this year, changing the back to Gorilla Glass 5, which you can say is more premium build quality but at the expense of durability, as we know glass breaks if dropped hard, so you might want to get a case on it. Unlike the A14, which had about 4 versions, the Galaxy A54 is the same everywhere, at least for now, running the Exynos 1380 chipset. I'd say a Snapdragon 778G equivalent at least on benchmarks, but we'll talk more on performance later. The Galaxy A54, while having the new Samsung unified design language and is a little smaller than the A53 of last year, it's actually slightly heavier, probably due to the glass on the back. It's a glossy finish on all colors of the A54 by the way. Samsung remains one of the very few manufacturers that offer IP67 level water and dust resistance on their mid-range smartphones, so you can flex dipping it in water if you like. Now, can't say I don't like Samsung's design decision this year. It looks clean. You can probably fool anyone into thinking it's one of the S23 series, at least until you turn to the display and notice that bezel size, which actually appears thicker than what we had on the A53. Display-wise, we still get a 1080p Super AMOLED with peak brightness up to 1000 nits, that's 200 nits brighter than its predecessor. The display looks as good as you'd expect from Samsung, but when you put it next to the A53, you might prefer colors from the A53. Not sure what Samsung did to the display here, but it's not as vibrant, or should I say appealing, as the A53. It's personal preference though. You might not be able to notice this on camera, and it's not something that will bother you unless you're nitpicky like me and placing the display next to another AMOLED device. It has a tough Gorilla Glass 5 protection and with 82.9% screen to body ratio. That's about 2.5% more bezels than the A53. Again, I'm just nitpicking and that has nothing to do with performance. Yes, about performance, we get 120Hz high refresh rate display, same as with its predecessor, but this one is at adaptive, meaning it can switch between 60 and 120Hz as needed by the device. So far it has been good, and I'll say a lot better than the experience on the A53. You need to have used or experienced the A53 to truly appreciate how much of an upgrade in performance you are getting with the Galaxy A54. It's smoother and doesn't get the kind of freezes or lags I experienced with the A53. I couldn't help but blame it on the Exynos 1280. Although One UI 5.1 made it much better, but it still wasn't quite up to expectations. There are probably users that had better experience with the A53 than mine though, I hope so. On the A54 however, the Exynos 1380 seems to be handling things just fine. No lags or freezes, even on the gaming performance. While we still have that usual lack of gaming optimization for Exynos, it is consistent with frame rates for the most part and gives you much better gaming experience than you could ever get from its predecessor. With Call of Duty Mobile, you can get max frame rate, but maximum graphics is at medium. A phone of this price should be capable of playing at higher graphics, but it's more an Exynos problem. This might change with time though, and it is really dependent on the game you are playing. On Apex Legends, for example, you can play it at high graphics and high frame rate. That's a maximum 50 FPS, and it's consistent with no frame drops that affects your gameplay, like with the A53. It also maintains steady warm temperature for certain periods of gaming. I've not really gone through sessions over 30 minutes yet though. Device temperature on Apex Legends is not as high as with Call of Duty Mobile, but on both, nothing abnormal in my experience so far. It is worthy of mention that the Dimensity 1080 powered Galaxy A34 plays Apex Legends at the same graphics settings and frame rate as the A54, but plays Call of Duty at higher graphics. Do with that information as you see fit. The software experience here is great as expected. One UI 5.1 on Android 13, and like I mentioned before, it's a much stable experience than its predecessor. This will get 4 major OS upgrades, that is Android 17 guaranteed, and Samsung provides arguably the best software support even on their mid-range phones. I also found the battery life on the Galaxy A54 pretty impressive. On my first full charge, I got over 7 hours of screen on time with 36% battery left, and it was still learning usage patterns. That's impressive. The battery capacity is 5000 mAh and can charge at 25 watts. That's if you have a supported 25 watts charger. Samsung is too busy saving the planet to give you one in the box. In the camera department, it will be safe to say the Galaxy A54 will find it hard to disappoint you. It's probably best in class, but a couple of comparisons will put that to test. It gets one less camera sensor than its predecessor, specifically the depth sensor, which probably was not needed anyway. We have a 50 megapixel sensor for its main camera. That's different from the 64 megapixel from the A53. Curious to see what difference that will make when they are compared. It retains the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera and 5 megapixel macro camera. It still keeps the same 32 megapixel selfie camera. Like I mentioned, you will find this photo satisfying. It's good with HDR and sharp with detail even when you don't activate the 50 megapixel mode. Night mode shots also look good. Selfies are well processed with enough detail, including with portraits. Although I think it could do with a little more sharpness, but I'd like to hear what you think about these photos. It has the ability to shoot videos up to 4K 30fps from both the selfie and rear cameras. It also has optical image stabilization, which works great at 1080p but not as good on 4K. Quality on 4K though is great. Okay, so I'm outside testing the 32 megapixel selfie camera of the Samsung Galaxy A54. Currently shooting at 4K 30 frames per second. That's Valor reviews. Out testing as well. So yeah, what's the camera quality like? Video quality, HDR looks good so far. I'm holding the A53 and A34 comparison videos coming up. Let me know which one you want to see first. Yeah, but has the mic quality as well as the video quality. 4K 30fps selfie camera A54. Earlier in this video, I mentioned that the A54 does not only need to be a good successor to the A53, but it also needs to fill the vacant shoes left by the A74. I can say it's a good upgrade from the A53, especially on performance and stability. On other areas like cameras, we'll probably need a video on that. Just let me know in the comments if you want that comparison. As for filling the shoes of the A74, I'd say it's just okay and doesn't really do that. What I'm trying to say is if you own an A73, you should not be considering the A54. Maybe the A55 next year might fill those shoes. It is a solid device from my experience so far, and I'll definitely be doing future reviews to update on its performance. I'll also likely be comparing it to the A34 and Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus 5G. So do let me know which of these comparisons you want to see first, the A34, the A53 or the Redmi.